Hi, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Well, let's get right to it, Jim, the same way we usually do in the NHL. With the first 5 games of the Stanley Cup Finals, they've been kind of strange. What do you think people will remember most about this year so far? Is it the biting, the taunting, the suspensions, the blowouts, or whiny Canuck fans?
I think it's the diving. That's what everyone talks about the most so far.
Yeah, no kidding.
The bite that wasn't suspended it's people are still talking about that.
Totally. And the taunting,
the taunting came from that. Yeah. So it all kind of bled together, but
I just can't bled together. That's good. I can't believe that how much of that taunting is going on. It's absolutely and you think they'd be done with it, but it doesn't.
That
look
one
like
game was ridiculous.
Yeah, totally.
Where it was just
every whistle.
Yeah, it was funny though. I liked Mark Recchi doing it.
What a beaut. Guy's like 80 years old, still taunting, so it was really good. Yeah, I liked it. Aaron Rome got 4 games for the hit on Nathan Horton. Remembering, of course, that 4 games in the playoffs are like, 15 games in the regular season. Is that the league overreacting, and is it the wrong time for them to take such a harsh stand on hits like that?
Seems like a bit of an overreaction, especially when for example, a Raffi Torres on Seabrook wasn't suspended at all. It was just a 2-minute penalty. Seems like maybe bad timing for really taking a stand.
Yeah, no kidding. Right at the end when there's nothing.
A ton of times during the season when they could have taken that stand and maybe stopped this type of thing from happening.
Well, and we've been talking about the inconsistencies for forever, the ups and downs. And I mean, this is another down, I guess. But do you think it's got anything to do with Coley Campbell not being there?
Well, he wouldn't have been the guy at the helm anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
It's funny you say inconsistency because half the time it's not even him doing it because his son's involved and whatever. But it just seems like it's all over the map and it's fitting. But at the same time, that Rome hit, I thought it was quite predatory.
Yeah, it was certainly predatory. I mean, it wasn't a headshot per se. I mean, he hit his head pretty hard on the ice, but it was late, man. It was 2.5 steamboats.
It was blindside.
Totally. Yeah, no, absolutely. So it was, and I think for the predatory thing is really important. I think they need to look at that.
But what's interesting here is they don't always go by injury, but here they went by injury. They said, well, he's out for the series, so you're out for the series.
You take it, yeah.
But they don't always seem to go by that. So
I don't really understand it either.
Again, inconsistency. Hopefully Shanny brings in a bit of consistency.
There's more going on in the world of hockey, of course, than just the Cup Final. The latest on the Winnipeg situation is that the AHL's Manitoba Moose are moving to St. John's, but they'll be the Winnipeg AHL affiliate. So we still don't know what the name of the Winnipeg team is. When they announced the St. John's one, people were going insane in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Like, they love their hockey there. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, it's good. They obviously had to move the team.
Yeah.
It's nice that I believe True North is still the owners.
That's right. Yeah.
And then they're keeping it as the what a tangled web though.
No kidding. It's a mess.
What do you think they should be called? I mean, St. John. I was trying to look up some background.
on Newfoundland and St. John's.
The caribou.
Yeah.
The cyclones. Because there's already hurricanes, of course.
That's right. But he couldn't do it. Hurricanes north or anything like that.
There's a musician named John Legend. He could sponsor it, and they could be called the St. John's Legends.
Oh, there it is.
Because apparently it's the City of Legends.
Yeah, right.
Their nickname.
Well, I don't know if that would be very good. A couple of 18-year-old legends playing on the team. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But, I mean, now we heard a familiar name brought up again this past week by Forbes magazine when it came to the potential new owners around the NHL. Matt Halsizer has apparently put together a new proposal in his effort to buy the Phoenix Coyotes from the NHL, and that's who owns them now. What's the latest there, Jim?
Well, the familiar name, of course, Jim Balsillie.
Well, that was there too.
A potential, maybe throwing his hat back in the ring. They said that Gary Bettman's reached out to him and said, hey, as long as you don't do a big song and dance, you'll get an NHL team eventually.
You're not out of the running. Keep trying.
The NHL denies that, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen, of course.
And then Matt Halsizer's in the game as well.
Well, and he's put a new proposal to buy the Coyotes, but of course the Coyotes are the team that Balsillie wanted. So if the Halsizer thing doesn't end up coming to fruition, you have to think Balsillie might be back in the running. And I was thinking, if he were to give Glendale 5 years, because they desperately want to keep the team, I think for the sole purpose of having a tenant in the rink.
Because they won't have anybody else.
Yeah. If he kept them there for a bit and offered maybe to move the team to Quebec City, where they're thinking of building a rink with government money
just to get a team on the possibility of getting a team.
That's not a bad agreement there. That could be something he should think about. But
well, if he's in it for the long run, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. Except
the new Hull-Sizer deal is that he's putting a new way for the city to finance.
Oh yeah.
Because right now it just looks sketchy.
What a mess there.
Yeah,
it's a complete mess.
So he's back in it for now, but we'll see. I mean, I think that one's still wide open, and it would be interesting if Balsillie what would be incredibly ironic about it is that the NHL owns the team because of what he tried to do to buy the team, and they still own the team 2 years later.
Yeah,
only to resell it to him.
They could have done it in the first place.
That would just be picture perfect.
Absolutely. NHL general managers have proposed a new take on the headshot rule, taking blindside out of the wording to allow a broader range of hits to fall under this Rule 48 that we've been talking about for months now. Is it good to see this progression?
I think so, and a lot of the GMs have talked about that. Like, there's going to be disagreements, and there's going to be. Of course there is. But you have to. They took the important first step of putting a rule in place.
Yeah.
And then since then, they're looking at different ways to make it more effective. And the blindside thing, the blindside's good, but there's also a lot of other hits that you see and you go, well, that can't be legal.
Well, my opinion, I mean, call it whatever you want. Just make it black and white and then call it that way, we've been talking about. Just, if it's got to be take out the word blindside, then fine, take out the word blindside, but just call it.
Black and white, red and white, whatever. Whatever colors it's going to be, just tell us.
Just do it.
So we can expect.
Exactly. Reports say the New York Rangers will be buying out the final year of Chris Drury's contract. Is he past it, or could he be valuable someplace else? I mean, if you look at the guy's points per millions made, it's not not all that good, Jim.
He's getting into Chichu territory right now, where he was a decent producer, and he's tapered off. And injuries last year were the big thing, and annoying injuries like a finger.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I think this coming year will be very important for him. I would say that a team sign him to a 1-year deal,
totally,
to prove that he's still.
I hear behind the scenes he's still a good captain, like he's a good guy and that kind of thing. But I mean, I don't know if you still pay however much he's making, multiple millions of dollars for a good captain.
Especially when, especially when the production's not what it was.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's, too old to be a good player still. So I think it'll be an important year for him to come back and say, listen, it was injuries, it was a couple other factors, but I'm still here.
Where's he going to go? Let's say they do buy out his contract and he gets 1 year someplace.
I think it's completely wide open. Yeah. I don't think there's teams clamoring over each other to enlist his services. But that said, I mean, you look at his past; he's a good player. I don't know. Just to bring it locally, would it be worth
what I'm saying.
Edmonton Oilers
would it be
taking
for a
stab?
year? I don't know. Maybe to help some of the kids come around.
$2 million?
Yeah, maybe. They've got the cap space.
Yeah.
Real quick, is Richards going to go over to New York now that Drury's going to?
Well, that's the thinking, right? But I'm kind of hoping Richards goes somewhere else. Yeah. Although that might be the guy to help kind of turn things around in New York. Not that it's been so bad, but it hasn't been. Some of the players they have, you expect them to be better.
Absolutely. On Friday night, FC Edmonton, the Edmonton Energy, and the Edmonton Capitals were all in action at the same time in the city. Pretty soon the Eskimos joined this group. Is it a great time to be a sport fan in the City of Champions?
I would say so.
Yeah, absolutely.
The energy, you go there, you'll see a lot of points.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
I was looking at the International Basketball League records, the fewest points ever scored by one team in a game.
Fewest
points ever.
I don't know. It's got to be somewhere around like 60, like
81.
No way.
So you're guaranteed to see at least 160 points between the two teams.
That's fantastic. That's some entertaining basketball.
Yeah,
right there.
And the Capitals are off to a good start.
Yeah.
FC Edmonton, they're second in the North American Soccer League, which is
that's
tier 2 soccer on the continent.
No,
so
it's not bad.
It's a good level of sports across the board.
Absolutely.
And it seems like, especially when the weather's nice.
Yeah,
here,
no kidding. Yeah,
people get out and support it. So and when the Eskimos get in there too, that's going to be fun.
Crazy.
They're going to be good this year.
Yeah, they are. They are absolutely. We're going to go into the GABBYs now. These are the good and bad by you. We take the best and the worst of the world of sports, sometimes submitted by you, and we tend to make fun of it. Not all the time. Let's go on to the first one. How about the first good? How about Donald Brashear? He needed only 21 seconds, Jim, to close out his first MMA fight this weekend, laying a solid beatdown on Mathieu Bergeron. Bergeron at a ringside MMA event. That was my French right there. That was, it was two rookies going at it, but still a dominant performance by the old man. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video, but he really did just beat the other guy up.
Yeah, he 21 seconds and they had to call it. That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
So that shows me that he's still, I mean, he's got the fighter's instinct.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got a couple fights left with ringside, so maybe
we'll see how it goes.
Maybe give him someone with a little more experience next time.
That's right.
Still on the good side, Jeff. Wayne Gretzky's son Trevor gets drafted this week by the Chicago Cubs in the 7th round of the MLB draft. 6'4", 190 pounds, could probably stand to gain a bit of weight.
No kidding.
But isn't it about time a Gretzky was drafted?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been missing it for so long, really. Good for Wayne though, letting the kid choose his own way there.
Yeah, they said to Wayne, like, oh, what'd you say to your son? And he said, well, I can't really relate because I was never drafted. So
That's
it's good to see a Gretzky finally.
Yeah, that's right.
Finally getting picked up.
That's right. 7th round though. I mean, hopefully he plays. Love to see that on the back of a jersey. We have a good going to Jordan Eberle, the Oilers' Jordan Eberle, who was the big winner of the TSN Play of the Year showdown. He had a pretty solid first year in the NHL, but it was his first career goal, which was absolutely unbelievable, and that won the contest for him. He had won it straight out on his first career goal in the beginning of the season. Fantastic.
That's pretty good, and that was a beauty, too.
Just absolutely
I think
beautiful.
we were all expecting a 75-goal season at that point, but
that's right.
I'm still happy with what happened.
I'm still happy. It was Jim Vandermeer who one-handed it off the boards, the pass to the Jordan Eberle. That's my favorite part.
They were talking to him on TSN about it, and he gave a shout-out to Vandermeer. He said, it started with a beautiful pass.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Was it short-handed, too?
Oh, yeah, it was shorthanded.
Absolutely
goodness. It was. Yeah, absolutely was.
All right, from the good to the bad now, Jeff.
Yes.
For the first time since the mid-'90s, Tiger Woods is not at the U.S. Open.
Oof.
He's got a knee problem.
Injuries,
I think he's been operated 4 times on that one knee. Achilles problems. He's now gone 22 tournaments dating back to 2009 without a win. He's 15th in the world. Is that it? Is he ever going to catch these records we all thought he was going to?
Take some time off, Tiger. I know you took us some time off already. Take some time off. Get your body back in order because he's not old. That's the thing. Yeah. He's not old. He can still play. And they say that 90% of this golf game that these people talk about is mental. And right now he's got none of it. So take some time, get your body, get your mental side back on things. I think he can still run at all these records. Absolutely. A ton of controversy in the Ohio State football program after having their coach resign. Their star quarterback is also leaving school. Terrell Pryor is being investigated for more cases of receiving improper benefits, which sounds awesome. While he was a student, he was already going to be suspended for 5 games along with some teammates, but now he's just gone. Unbelievable with the controversy there. And is this guy coming to the CFL?
There's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a lockout down south.
That's right.
I don't know if you've heard about it, but
little NFL lockout.
But this whole thing, it goes back to the should NCAA players be paid?
Yeah.
Well, they bring in tens of millions of dollars, but if they get, a little benefit here and there, they're in huge trouble. So it's a sticky. South Park actually spoofed it a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
But Terrell Pryor could very easily end up in the CFL. I think the Rough Riders have his rights. So that would be interesting. Still on the bad side, Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff Driscoll. Floyd Mayweather getting back in the ring.
Yes.
Not to fight Manny Pacquiao, though.
Of course not. Why would he do that?
Come on, man.
Come on.
He's going to be fighting a guy named Victor Ortiz for the welterweight crown. He says at this point in his career, he's just kind of going for the rising stars with something to prove kind of deal. Come on, man. I want to see this fight.
If he's going to fight, he's got to fight Pacquiao, and I think anything less is just not worth it. Like, it's absolutely not worth it.
Wow.
I wouldn't pay to see it.
Some people are saying this might be a tune-up fight,
well,
and later on, but this can only drag on for so long before both guys are past it.
Exactly. We're going to do a couple of quick hits here. Lots of lockout talk lately. Is the NBA going to join the NFL in a work stoppage?
I'm going to say yes.
Absolutely.
June 30th, the CBA finishes. I think they're still too far apart to come together by then.
There was some bribery talk in FIFA there. is this just the tip of the iceberg? Are we going to see more of it here?
I have a feeling that if it's happening at one point, it's happening a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you heard the bell there. That's our 15 Minutes of Fame up for this week. Join us again when we get a whole new 15 Minutes of Fame from the home offices here in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Have a good week, folks.